Ruby Bridges once said that we must get past our racial differences. We owe it to our children to help them keep their clean start. Today, I will be informing you about the story of Ruby Bridges. Her story has impacted many African American lives, for she played a crucial role in the desegregation of schools. I am extremely lucky to be able to tell you this story today, for without Ruby Bridges, I would not be standing here. Today, I will be informing you of 3 topics. First, how she helped to desegregate schools. Second, the struggles she faced while integrating into an all-white school. And third, the result of it all. First, it is no secret that in the early to mid-1900s, racism was still very prominent. Ruby helped to remedy this issue when she attended an all-white elementary school that had been adamant about resisting integration. It was very common for schools in the South to resist integration. However, according to Deborah Michaels, who works with the National Women's History Museum, the court ruling for Brown v. the Board of Education had been settled around the same time that Ruby had been going to school. This means that it was no longer illegal for Black and white children to attend school together. Ruby's parents had decided to break the cycle of racism by sending Ruby to an all-white elementary school after she had passed the test to determine whether or not she could attend. She was one of 6 students to pass the test, according to Hilbert College's article titled Ruby Bridges. While the action of attending the all-white school was a significant step toward the progression of education for African American children, we still need to discuss the hardships that Ruby was forced to endure. Ruby was a victim of blatant racism received from students, parents, and faculty. According to the National Park Service's article titled Ruby Bridges, Ruby was forced to endure racial slurs and screaming crowds. In fact, Hollis Lynch, who writes for Britannica, stated that Ruby was forced to stay in an empty classroom with one teacher for an entire year. She was isolated from the other children because parents had begun to try and pull their children out of school due to Ruby's attendance. According to the article Ruby Bridges from Hilbert College, Ruby had received threats from rioting parents, including a mother who had approached her with a black doll in a wooden coffin. The threats had become so terrible that Ruby had to be escorted to school by federal marshals. Also, parents had begun to teach their children these racist ideas, and Ruby had claimed to realize that in her interview with Manuela Louise Restrepo. Mary Louise Kelly had adapted this interview and wrote the article titled, Ruby was the first Black child to desegregate her school. This is what we learned for NPR. She stated that Ruby had her moment of realization when her teacher had taken her to another classroom to attempt to interact with other students. There, a boy in the class had told her that his mom told him not to play with her, and then proceeded to call her the N-word. This would have made her feel even more alone than she already felt. Although these experiences are horrible, the outcome we are about to discuss was extremely beneficial for Ruby and many other African American lives. Ruby inspired change in the hearts of many other African American children who have related to her experiences. According to the National Park Service's Ruby Bridges, because of Ruby's experiences, Ruby had decided to become a civil rights activist and created the Ruby Bridges Foundation, which encourages tolerance and changes through education. Because of Ruby's experiences, many young children can connect and relate with her. According to Mary Louise Kelly, Ruby believes that it is because they can relate to the loneliness. This can be used to create more inclusivity in schools. Also presented in Ruby Bridges from the National Park Service, Ruby inspired many other African American students to enroll in all-white schools. This resulted in more integrated schools and even better learning opportunities for children of color. Now that you know about Ruby Bridges and her story, let's recap what we've learned. Today, we discussed how Ruby Bridges helped to desegregate schools, the struggles she faced while integrating into an all-white school, and the result of her hard work and dedication. Now, thanks to Ruby Bridges, African American students, like myself, are able to learn more comfortably and in safe school environments. We could not have done it without her. Thank you.